Alright. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Purvashna Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Thakur ki jai. Iskhan Guru Vrinda ki jai. Iskhan Guru Pavanacharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Radha Gadadhar Sri Gaura ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopavuna. Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Mathura Dham ki jai. Navadi Dham ki jai. Navadi Dham ki jai. Swami ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Gaura Premananda ki jai. Samveda Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the Shimmery. All glories to the Shimmery. All glories to the Shimmery. All glories to the Shri Guru Brahma Brahma Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, The Signs of God, and we are in chapter 6, which is called Prahlad Instructs His Demonic Schoolmates, text number 15. Viteshu Nitya Abhinishta Vidvan Cha Dosham Paravita Kartu Hartu Pretya Iha Ut. Is that what it is? Va. Ajita Indriya. Tat. Ashanta. Kama. Arate. Kutumbi. Ja, det var bedre. Viteshu Nitya Binivishta Cheta.
Viteshu Nitya Binivishta Cheta.
Viteshu Nitya Binivishta Cheta.
Viteshu Nitya Binivishta Cheta.
Vidvamsa Dosham Paravittahartu.
Vidvamsa Dosham Paravittahartu.
Vidvamsa Dosham Paravittahartu.
Vidvamsa Dosham Paravittahartu.
Precheha Vata Pyatitendriyastat.
Precheha Vata Pyatitendriyastat.
Precheha Vata Pyatitendriyastat.
Precheha Vata Pyatitendriyastat.
Ashantu Kamo Harate Kutumbi.
Ashanta Kamo Harate Kutumbi.
Ashanta Kamo Harate Kutumbi.
Ashanta Kamo Harate Kutumbi.
Viteshu Nitya Binivishta Cheta.
Viteshu Nitya Binivishta Cheta.
Vidvamsa Dosham Paravittahartu.
Vidvamsa Dosham Paravittahartu.
Precheha Vata Pyatitendriyastat.
Precheha Vata Pyatitendriyastat.
Ashantu Kamo Harata Kutumbi.
Ashanta Kamo Harate Kutumbi. Viteshu Nitya Binivishta Cheta.
Viteshu Nitya Binivishta Cheta.
Vidvamsa Dosham Paravittahartu.
Vidvamsa Dosham Paravittahartu.
Precheha Vata Pyatitendriyastat.
Precheha Vata Pyatitendriyastat.
Ashanta Kamo Harate harate kutumbi.
Ashantakamu harate kutumbi.
Viteshu nityabi Nityabi acheta
Viteshu nityabi cheta.
Vidvamsa dosham paravita hartu
Vidvamsa dosham paravita hartu.
Prityeha vata pyajitendriyastat
Prityeha vata pyajitendriyastat.
Ashantakamo harate kutumbi
Ashantakamo harate kutumbi.
Viteshu nitya vinivishtate cha.
Viteshu nitya vinivishtate cha.
Vidvamsa dosham paravita hatu.
Vidvamsa dosham paravita hatu.
Prityeha vata pyajitendriyastat.
Prityeha vata pyajitendriyastat.
Ashantakamo harate kutumbi.
Ashantakamo harate kutumbi.
Viteshu nitya vinivishta
Viteshu nitya vinivishta cheta.
Vidvamsa dosham paravita hatu.
Vidvamsa dosham paravita hatu.
Prityeha vata pyajitendriyastat.
Prityeha vata pyajitendriyastat.
Ashantakamo harate kutumbi.
Ashantakamo harate kutumbi. Viteshu, in material wealth,
in material world.
Nitya biniveshta cheta,
Nitya binivishta,
whose mind is always absorbed.
whose mind is always absorbed.
Vidvan, having learned. Cha, also. Dosham, the fault. Paravita hartu. If one who steals the money of others by cheating or by transactions on the black market.
One who steals the money of others by cheating or by transactions on the black market.
Precha, after dying. Iha, in this material world. Ba, or. Atapi, still. Ajita indriya, because of being unable to control the senses. Tat, that. Ashantakama, whose desires are unsatiated. Harate, steals. Kutumbi, too fond of his family. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. If a person too attached to the duties of family maintenance is unable to control his senses, the core of his heart is immersed in how to accumulate money. Although he knows that one who takes the wealth of others will be punished by the law of the government or by the laws of Yamaraj after death, he continues cheating others to acquire money. Purport. Especially in these days, people do not believe in the next life or in the court of Yamaraj and the various punishments of the sinful. But at least one should know that one who cheats others to acquire money will be punished by the laws of the government. Nonetheless, people do not care about the laws of this life or those governing the next. Despite whatever knowledge one has, one cannot stop his sinful activities if he is unable to control his senses. The verse again, Viteshu nitya biniveshta cheta vidvamsa dosham paravita hartu pracheha vasapyatendriyastat ashantakamo harate kutumbi. If a person too attached to the duties of material maintenance is unable to control his senses, the core of his heart is immersed in how to accumulate money. Although he knows that one who takes the wealth of others will be punished by the law of the government and by the laws of Yamaraj after death, he continues cheating others to acquire money. Oh my God, that's Oh my God, Chakshurunminatamina tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Rasari Gaura Bhattacharya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Har du ingen briller?
Ah?
Har du ikke briller?
Jo, jeg har nogle. Jeg kan bare glemme dem.
Skal jeg købe nogle til dig?
Hvad?
Skal jeg købe nogle til dig?
Nej, jeg har det. Så,
Måske skal du snakke lidt mere i mikrofonen.
Krishna. So, here Prabhupada describes how the root cause of sinful activities is to not being able to control his senses. We all know that it is essential to be able to control the senses, especially in devotional service, but even in material life, whatever you want to accomplish or obtain in material life, you have to control the senses. I remember when I went to school, and we got it was called the weekly money. We got a little allowance. I got like a couple of kronas, 5 kronas. And I would always go out and spend them all on candy. Immediately I got them and I would go to the store and buy slick. And so I could never keep my money. That's uncontrolled senses. I would immediately transform my money into candy. But I had a friend called Paul. He was such a sensible guy, and he would always save up his money. And he would save up his weekly allowance. All us other people, we went and bought candy, or bought all kinds of stuff, and always spent our money, went out partying when we got a little older. But he would always stay home, save his money. And then at one point he bought a big stereo, and we were, wow, and we used to go to him and listen to his stereo. Wow, amazing. And to me it was an amazing feat to be able to save up your money and so you can buy a stereo. And later on, even when we went out partying and drinking and partying and chasing girls, he was sitting at home studying, and later on he became a doctor. So he was this type of person who could actually control his senses. And that was in where I grew up. This was like unheard of. Nobody could control the senses. Nobody even knew that you had to control your senses. It was like what do you call it? An oxymoron to control the senses. If you have some senses, it means you have to use them in any way you feel like it. So there's no question of controlling the senses. But this person also, he came with his parents later on to where we stayed. He came from Jylland. And he was such a sensible person. Of course, we were teasing, oh, you're just boring. But later on, he became very successful in his material life. He became a doctor and made a lot of money. And he got a nice wife and nice kids. So, it is stated in the Vedas that, or when Yudhisthira he asks Bhishma Dev after the battle of Kurukshetra, Yudhisthira, he's so despondent and he cannot function. He's completely in lamentation. Oh, I'm the source of all these people getting killed. It is my fault. He kept saying that, even though Krishna and everyone told him, no, it's not your fault, it's unavoidable what happened, inevitable. Couldn't have been stopped, it's destiny. No, it's me. I'm greedy for land and property and kingdom, so it's my fault. So Krishna is even though Krishna is personally preached to him, he wasn't able to ease his mind. So then Krishna said, okay, then you go to Bhishma. He's lying on his bed of arrows. And nobody has such a wealth vast wealth of knowledge as he has, because he's very old and experienced, and he studied all the scriptures, so he knows everything. So Yudhishthira, he went to speak to Bhishma Dev, and it takes up a big portion of the Mahabharata, a whole book, many chapters, where Bhishma Dev instructs Yudhishthira in varnashram duties. The first question he asks, what's the duty of a king? And Bhishma Dev says the duty of a king is to punish. Usually we take a kshatriya means to give protection against hurt, but it can also mean one who punishes, kshat, one who gives hurt. So, because any person doesn't like to hurt others, it's a natural human instinct that you don't want to hurt other people, unless you're weird in the head. If you're a normal human being, you actually don't want to hurt others, and you feel sorry about hurting others. So a kshatriya, a king, he has to hurt others, even though, of course, when they're rascals, it's a little easier to hurt them. But so he has to punish them. And that's the first duty of a king, because the first duty of a king is to give protection, but to protect you have to punish. You have to punish the miscreants, the thieves, the criminals. Not like nowadays, you see in the modern society, it's so idiotic. The crime rate is just soaring up, ever increasing, and then people don't get punished. Like, you can actually go out and kill a person, or rape and slaughter a woman, and you can get like 5 years in jail. Even in India nowadays, rape, immediately death penalty. And that's how it should be. You have these psychopaths running around the streets. You're actually doing the earth a favor by removing them from the surface. But the modern criminal justice system is so sentimental, is so warped, is actually so demonic, that everything is, we think more about he had a bad childhood, oh, poor guy. Some psychopath just killed and maimed, thousands of people he went into a store and started shooting. And then the psychologist said, oh, he had such a poor childhood. His mother used to beat him. So we have to, of course, as devotees, we don't have to do these things. But in a society, in a real society, there has to be a king, and he has to punish people. How did I get to speak about that? Oh, that was about controlling the senses. Because Yudhishthira also asked afterwards, when he asked Bhishma Dev, how do you get success in life? And Bhishma Dev immediately said, by austerity. So it's actually a fact that whatever we want to obtain in life, we have to do austerities. In the old days, like if somebody wanted something, he went and stood for 1,000 years on one leg, and with the hand stretched, and did austerities like that. And then when he was finished, he could get practically whatever he wanted, because he would please some demigod. He would worship some demigod, and this demigod would come and offer him blessings. Same with Arjuna, when they were in the forest in exile. Just before the war, Yudhishthira told Arjuna, now you have to go and perform austerities so you can be successful in the coming war. So Arjuna went into the forest, and he did a lot of austerities and meditation and yoga and stuff. And then, of course, he met Shiva as a hunter, and Shiva blessed him to get all the weapons. He gave him all his weapons, because that's the thing. When you get heavenly weapons, it means you have to get it from the demigod who is in charge of that weapon. And the demigod will give you, it's a very beautiful thing, a sword or an arrow or something, and he will give you the mantra to invoke the weapon. Because it's not enough just to shoot an arrow, but when you know the mantra, you can turn that arrow into a missile or a bomb or rain or a powerful wind or whatever. So Arjuna, he had all the weapons from the demigods and all the mantras, and so he knew how to use them, and he met Lord Shiva, who gave him his very powerful weapon, the Pashupatra. I forget what it did. It was a very, very powerful weapon. It's only the Narayana Astra, only that weapon was above it. Otherwise it was the most powerful weapon in creation. So Arjuna had all these weapons. Karna also had all these weapons. He also had pleased many demigods and done a lot of austerity. He used to go down and worship the sun every day because of course the sun was his father. But he was cursed that at the critical moment he would forget everything. And so that at the very critical moment when he had the final duel with Arjuna, his chariot sunk into the mud, and he went out and he said to Arjuna, "Hey, wait, let me get my chariot out of the mud first." And he tried and he couldn't, and he tried to remember the mantras, how to get light things or heavy things light and stuff like that, but he forgot everything. And Krishna, he said, now you should even kill him. Just see, Krishna can be devious. He doesn't have this mundane sentimentality. He told Arjuna, and Arjuna said, "No, I can't kill him now. He's in, because it's one of the Kshatriya codes that you cannot kill somebody who's unarmed or who's turned away or who's engaged in some who's not attentive. So you're not supposed to kill him at that time." But Krishna said, no, he's very powerful. Now is your chance. Remember all the bad stuff he's done. Now kill him. And so Arjuna surrendered and shot off his head. So we can see even Krishna himself, he doesn't always follow all these mundane rules for ethics. He will break the rules if it suits him. That's it. That's the good thing about being God, that you actually don't have to follow your own rules. We have to follow the rules, but Krishna doesn't have to follow any rules. Of course, he shows the example, like when he follows the rules, then he comes as Lord Ramachandra, and he's very exemplary, follows all rules and regulations as a perfect human being. But as Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna doesn't care so much for all the rules and regulations. So anyway, to obtain any kind of success in life, one has to perform austerities. Now, the austerities they did in former times, so we cannot do that today. Like Hiranyakashipu was standing on the tips of his toes for like 100,000 years of the demigods. That's like millions of years, with the arms stretched. In the end, the whole universe became so heated due to his austerity that the demigods went to Lord Brahma and said, "Can you stop this guy? Can you do something?" So Lord Brahma went and said, "Okay, what do you want?" Because he was trying to get the attention of Lord Brahma, but he was a demon, so Lord Brahma, he said. But then in the end, when it started to affect the whole universe, his austerity, then finally he went. So nowadays we cannot do, of course we cannot, first of all we are not able to do these austerities, and second of all we don't even know about how to do them, because it has to be done according to the yogic rules and regulations. You cannot just invent something. It has to be established pose. But so in this Kali Yuga we cannot do all these austerities and control our senses even. There's only one way, because in former ages there were all these material ways to control the senses and to engage the senses in the duty and do all these things. But all this is impossible in Kali Yuga. We can just forget about it. So the only way we can be able to control our senses and do austerities is by becoming devotees. Because the thing about bhakti is that it is above the modes of material nature, it is not dependent on the modes of material nature. So even in an age which is so fallen as Kali Yuga, where everything is completely degraded and practically everyone, all people are practically crazy. Prabhupada, according to Prabhupada's definition, people, they are crazy. Prabhupada, he says, somebody who doesn't surrender to Krishna, he's a rascal. So everyone out there, they are actually rascals and criminals and crazies. So the only way, and there's nothing, there's no material thing they can do like following Varnashram or doing anything like that. It doesn't work in Kali Yuga. The only thing that works in Kali Yuga